I was scrolling the internet, I come across this video. To be honest with you, it's so painful and pathetic that Africa has been conquered religiously. Religion, they said, is an opium to the masses. What does that mean? It's something you cannot take away. It's something even when they are burning with fire, they accept it, they enjoy it, they embrace it. It's their life. You can't save a man from religion he or she embraces. When it comes to religion that does not concern Africa in any way, Africa can kill, Africa can disown, Africa can despite, Africa can do anything to protect his religion that is alien to him. Both Christianity and Islam, none is African origin. They are traceable to Abraham in faraway Arabic nation. Now, the Westerners or the Arabians or whoever, Asians, they have found out that Africa like religion. They have found that they have brainwashed Africans into religion. There's nothing you can do about it. They now use that tool to cause havoc in African nations. Somebody can come and kill and operate, do all manner of demonic acts without feeling remorse, without feeling any pain, without even the person will have joy in his or her heart that yes, I have done the right thing. That's the worst part of it. Just pay attention and listen to what this guy is saying. It's so painful. And you know one funny thing? Nobody's doing anything about it. Our politicians are just busy collaborating. I think we are caged in total. Until we stop this type of madness, Africa will not have peace. When you finish with this pattern, they come with another pattern. And I don't think it's going to stop anytime soon. Some people believe in religion like that they can't think out of, they can't even reason on their brain. They can't, if you mingle with society and see how they reason, because of religion, you begin to cry for yourself. Average black woman is so much indebted to praying and fasting, yet she remained poor. Yet she remained in abject poverty, hoping that one Messiah is coming one day to take her to heaven. Says who? Says the person that wants you to perish.
We need to talk about what is happening in Mozambique, because what is happening there can and will happen to the rest of Africa. It's already happened in Somalia, in Nigeria, in Burkina Faso and the other Sahel states. Mozambique is next, and if you're nearby in that area, you could be afflicted. And that is the jihadist ideologies that are spreading. Let's talk about Mozambique. On the northern part of Mozambique, there's a city called Cabo Delgado, or a district that is called Cabo Delgado. And it's a relatively poor area despite its raw resources of natural liquid gas that a bunch of international donors swept in to claim, but I'm going to talk about that later. Now, what happened is that a terrorist organization has formed there right now, and they are called Ansar al-Sunnah. They were previously called Al-Shabaab. And they started because a group of young men, a bunch of Mozambicans, they went to study in the early 2000s in Saudi Arabia. How did Saudi Arabia find these young men? Well, Saudi Arabia was trying to market themselves as the leaders of Islam. And they were trying to spread their ideologies of Sharia law across the world, especially the most vulnerable parts, Africa. They went to Mozambique. They preached, they funded this or marketed this through Islamic institutions. They said, hey, listen, we're going to give you food, housing, transportation, everything. We're going to give you a nice scholarship. Come to Saudi Arabia. And then when they arrived, they studied these, I'm going to put it up here, I can't really pronounce it, but this form of ideology, and it was Sharia law involved. Once they came back in 2012, They separated themselves from the Islamic Council that was controlling, or not controlling, but was the head of the religious groups in Mozambique. They separated themselves from them because they couldn't be imams, they couldn't preach, etc. They were not allowed to do that because the Sufism leaders who were there in Mozambique, they saw them as a threat to Mozambique and the peace of the country. So despite their prestigious education in Saudi Arabia, when they came back, they came jobless and without any connections to be able to preach their ideologies. But they still wanted to spread Sharia law. They just needed more people. And what changed was when Mozambique discovered massive amounts of natural liquid gas in Capo Delgado. When they discovered that amount of resources in the northern part of Delgado, the politicians, the greedy politicians in Maputo, they went there, they seized the land from the people and kicked them out. So they didn't have any land, they were impoverished, etc. That was the perfect breeding ground for this newly acclaimed jihadist group. They started to preach that the politicians are greedy, they're giving their resources to the other parts of the world, etc. And a lot of young men listened because they didn't have jobs, they didn't have anything to do, etc. So they took out these guns and they started to join these jihadist groups who promised them power, who promised them status. And that's how they started to spread. I'm telling you this story because that's what happened in my country, Somalia. In 1970s, 1980s, when the war in Ogaden was happening, a bunch of Islamist ideologies, they came from Saudi Arabia. Somalis who studied in Saudi Arabia came back and they started to preach these ideologies. And now they became Al-Shabaab. They're spreading their hate around the country. We see what is happening in Afghanistan. We see what is happening in Nigeria as well with Boko Haram, who has connections with Saudi Arabia. And a bunch of thousands of students who are getting scholarships to go to Saudi Arabia to study Sharia law, not medicine, not political science, nothing, just Sharia law. There is something happening in Africa that we need to discuss as Africans before it's too late.